Hello, my name is Professor Rick Manzano, and I will be one of the instructors in your Paralegal 246 Legal Research and Analysis class, along with Professor Robinson. Professor Robinson?
Hi, I'm Professor Robinson, and I will be co-teaching this class with Professor Manzano. Some of you may have already realized, but we have redesigned this class, something we wanted to do even before um, these unique times, but we're really excited about all the work we've put into redesigning this class and making it really ready for you guys. So Professor Manzano is going to show you some features of how to navigate through Canvas.
This particular class, the way we put it together, it's what we call a hybrid class. Part of it is like your online classes. If you've taken Para 101, 121, you understand what a online class is. Well, this one's hybrid because in addition to having all the assignments available to you, all the information available to you, and yes, even the textbook materials are available to you at no additional cost
Wait a minute,
right here on.
did you say no additional cost,
Yes, ma'am, I
Professor
did.
Manzano?
This is a zero textbook cost class. Um, we're using official state of California citation books, and the other material I have is what we call open education resource materials that I've taken from educational materials that have been available for professors to use for their students at no additional charge to the students. So yes, no textbook costs. That's why you didn't find the textbook in the bookstore if you did try to get that ahead of time. Now, the reason it's hybrid is because in a few minutes we'll explain to you how we're actually going to have our class session. We're going to do that through Zoom, but we'll explain that to you when we get to that part. So first, I just wanted to run through for you real quickly how the class is put together. When you first log into the class, of course, you came here to the home page. You click on course information button right here, and it'll take you through. And what we'd like you to do before the first class meeting is read all of the information in the course information module so that you have a good background, you understand how we're going to communicate with you, how to contact Professors Robinson and Manzano. Now, because there's two professors in this class, if you're going to send an email about the class, you want to send it to both. There's a real easy way. You come over to the inbox right here, you click on the inbox, and this is my inbox. And then you go to the course under favorite courses. You would go to our course, which is Para 246. And then when you go in the inbox, I'm sorry, I'm in the inbox. I wanted to hit
It's a
this
little
part
hard to show you guys
here.
because we have a
That's how you
teacher
read your
view,
stuff,
but
right?
yeah,
But
compose.
once you hit that, because I was in the right class, I still had to get to the right class. When you hit two, you go to your contact list and you just click on teachers, and it'll send it to whichever one you click. So you have to click teachers, and oh, I guess all
All
teachers. There we go.
do all
That will
teachers, yeah.
send it to both of us. Tell us what the subject matter is and the information. I prefer using this feature because it tells me who you are, which class you're in. You saw my favorite class list. That's all the classes I'm teaching this semester. So if you just say, hey, professor, I'm in your class, I'm going, okay. And some of you have me in more than one class. So which one are you talking about? And I tend to call assignments the same thing so that things look familiar to you. So when you'd say, I'm having a problem with this week's discussion, again, which class are you in? So use this. It gives me the information that I generally need to be able to respond to you in a quick manner. Okay, so here we are back on the course information page. The, as you go through, we have all of the information you need. We'd like you to do the quest orientation assignment. It's worth 100 points. And you say, but I've already done that. That's fine, because if you read the instructions, all you have to do is go to the grade book in your quest orientation class, screenshot it, and remember, you say, but I don't know how to do that. Just take a picture with your phone and upload that file to me. That's fine. And answer the two questions. I have two questions there that I ask because we're constantly reevaluating the orientation and I'm on the committee that puts this uh, assignment together, and that way we can see that we're actually being useful to the students, and I get usually fairly decent feedback that we've made some changes based on some feedback. We also have a discussion board that we call Ask the Professors in Student Lounge. Great place to ask questions. And what I have found out over the years I've been teaching online is that over half the time, other students will answer your question before I do. You'll be saying, I can't find this assignment or I can't find that assignment. And they tell you where it is or something of that nature. So use this unless it's a personal question. For example, if you have a question about a grade, or during these unusual times, something's come up to make it difficult for you to do something. If you talk to us ahead of time, we can always make arrangements to make sure you're successful. Um, Now, next after that, we're going to go through the class by modules because this is set up on a module by module basis, and we'll start with module one. We have an introduction for you. The first week's assignment, which would really be great, even though we don't make the due date until the day after class. If you could do your first post before the class session, that'll give Kristen and I at least a good idea who is in the class. And when you join us on Monday, September 24th at 6 p.m., you'll have an idea of who's going to be on this journey with you this semester also. So please do that. We also have some reading assignment, which has a very short quiz. It's just 4 or 5 questions to make sure you have a good understanding of the main points that I want taken out of each reading assignment. And don't worry when like you get to module two and you say, my goodness, there's 3 reading assignments. It's because instead of just having one 5 or 6 page thing to read, I broke it down by topic. And so I feel, and I had this feedback from other students in other classes, that by making it very focused, it's much easier for them to go through the assignments. Plus, what I like is, okay, you have 15 minutes before it's time to go fix dinner. You can read chapter one and take the quiz, boom. But you couldn't have read chapter one, the primary source, and the hierarchy in that period of time because it's about 15 minutes of reading plus answer the 5 or 6 questions per thing. So hopefully that works good for you. Now, Kristen's going to talk to us about how we're going to do the class session. So, Kristen, go ahead.
Yeah, so we've made this so user-friendly for all of you. You're going to scroll up to the top of your Canvas class page on the main menu, and we'll bring that up for you right now. And right there under the home button, you see very clearly Confer Zoom. So you're going to click on that. And the great thing is that our community college has already an agreement with Zoom. So we're using Zoom, but even a little like Zoom Plus because it's Confer Zoom for the community college system. So you click on that, and our view looks a little different than yours because we're seeing the professor view. But when it gets close to the time, maybe a half hour or so before each class session, you'll actually see a button that will just say join. And so right here, you can already see we've got everything scheduled ahead of time already automatically for you. So you can see our first session is Monday, August 24th, of course, from 6 to 8:30. And it's already got the second session listed. So I won't have to send you an email with the link. Professor Manzano won't have to send you an email with the link. We won't be posting emails with the links or announcements because you can just go to Confer Zoom. However, because we have been doing this now for a little while, if it isn't letting you in, if you are having trouble, send an email on Canvas or email to us immediately, because I have had times where then I can push out the link again to you. So don't be stressed if something is weird. Sometimes Zoom is a little strange. Just keep trying to click in. And then usually we'll both be kind of in and out of the class sessions, but probably you'll see us maybe 10-15 minutes before the session starts, just to kind of, if you have questions, say hi. You're welcome to chat with each other before the session, before our sessions start, and kind of have that engagement. And so that'll be great. You're also welcome to chat with me, with Manzano, or with each other while we're Zooming. One of the pro tips is keep in mind, even if you chat a specific student or a professor through the Zoom platform, that it's not necessarily private. I won't see it at the time, or Professor Manzano if you sent it to a classmate, but after the class session is over, Zoom does capture all the chats, even private chats. So while I've never gone back and looked at chats, but it could happen, if there's something that comes up. So just keep that in mind, but you are welcome to chat each other, chat us during the session with questions, but they'll all be linked super easy for you right there. But if you are having trouble, don't hesitate to shoot an email, send us a message through Canvas. Professor
Professor
Manzano.
Robinson, I have a question.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, I work for this attorney who is not very easy to work for, and he keeps making me work overtime sometimes. What happens if I can't make it to class by 6 o'clock on Monday?
Great question. Just
I'm going
jump
to try
in.
real hard.
Yeah, I know, totally right. Or maybe, with everything going on, things are happening, right? So number one, even if you're late, just jump into the Zoom, right? There's, even if you can only catch 10 minutes, jump into the Zoom. But more importantly, we will be recording the class sessions and then posting them. We have to wait for the captions to render. So that sometimes is very quick. Sometimes it takes a day. So just check back, because I believe we'll put those recordings in each module. So if you missed that session or if you came late, you can always go back, usually within 24 hours, and be able to see it'll be a YouTube link. So you can fast forward it, you can slow it down, it'll be captioned. And that's another thing. I know we've got this on the syllabus, but if anyone does have DSPS accommodations, especially with disabilities that would affect using Canvas, we can get live captioning for the sessions, but we just need to put that request in early. I know the college will send us any accommodation requests, but sometimes they come a little late. So if that applies to you, please send Professor Manzano or myself an email right away, and we will work to set up the live captioner immediately. But yeah, so if you miss a session or come late, you'll be able to view it later.
Uh, what we have for in each module is a Confer Zoom page. My plan, I haven't done it yet, so we'll see how it works, is after the class, I will put the link to the recording. I'll add another layer that'll say recording, and it'll be down here. Also, this reminds you what you need to prepare for before you come to class. Now, in Module 1, because a lot of people won't be joining us till Monday, I'm not putting a requirement that you do the reading before class, though I'll tell you right now, the lecture and discussion will make a heck of a lot more sense if you do. The little short quiz that goes with this is due Sunday of the first week. But don't get into a habit and say, well, that's what we did the first week, that's what I can do in week 2. Because from week 2 on, if I have any reading assignments or other things, those are due at 6 p.m. on the day that the class is being held. So you'll notice when you click on read chapter 1, I give you the chapter 1. It tells us that it's due at 6 p.m. Now, a lot of you are used to me and everything's due at 11:59 p.m., but not the reading. Instead of making them do Sunday night, I give you all day Monday to do them also. So these will be due before class starts at 6 p.m. Okay.
Well, I know I'm super excited to get to know all of you online through Zoom. And Professor Manzano mostly has put so much work into designing this course. And we've spent a lot of time this summer
Oh,
strategizing
it's
and
been a team
talking and
effort. Come on.
yeah, and working even with the advanced legal research professor. So we're really excited to have this new redesign of this course to give to all of you this semester. So I'm excited.
It's very good. Good to see you all. Looking forward to seeing you in class.